Hey guys, just wrapped up editing and decided I wanted to add this little forward because I think this is one of, if not the most sexy Rattler build that has been done. Hashtag change my mind, and I mean that in all seriousness. If you guys know of a sexier build out there or can think of some kit this one's missing, hit up the comments below or tag me in a post in Instagram just to show me what you mean, because I want to know if this one isn't the sexiest out there. Of course, some of that'll be beauty in the eye of the beholder, so if I think you're wrong, I'll just tell you that I think you're wrong, but nonetheless, I'll appreciate your input and your opinion. Anyways, guys, this was the finished result. Just wanted to take a moment to say that. And as two last points of interest, here's a Nighthawk Agent 2 and a 40mm grenade launcher. Let's jump into it. Hey guys, Arm&Gun here today. Welcome to the show. We're long overdue in diving into the SIG Rattler. We've got an upgrading guns video for you guys here today, so we've got a lot of kit to play with and get on this little beauty. Now, I've been putting this video off for quite a while because I was waiting for some more kit in for this guy, which I'm actually missing here. Go to our drawer full of Radian, grab a charging handle, and a set of Talon safeties, and we'll add them to the pile because that is a very key part of our build for actually the Rattler lower, and I've actually got an FDE Virtus lower there as well, which are the same thing, but as you saw from the thumbnail, the two-tone look, I think, on the gun looks pretty slick. So we're going to set up both lowers, or actually the lowers are more or less set up at this point, but I'm going to go through the upgrades on them for you guys so you can see how you might want to set up your SIG Rattler. But otherwise, guys, a quick rundown of the kit we have available here today. We have some mounts from ADM and KDG. You guys have seen me use this one quite a bit. These are the original factory sights, by the way. They're probably not going back on, but these are the newer SIG ones. These ones came on the Rattler, and they're actually much lower profile, much nicer than the ones that I got with my SIG MPX a couple of years ago. We've got some kit here from Surefire X300u, Scout 600 Pro dual fuel, which is what we'll get into that. Of course, the Radian Talon and Raptor. The Old Faithful, my favorite, Ergo Deluxe grip flat top. Got a nice little hook stop here from Aeroknox. These are the original takeoff parts. We'll get into that because, well, this is the original SIG safety selector, the original SIG bolt release, and the, in my opinion, quite terrible, well, just given the initial setup of the Rattler, I think the charging handle they came with was pretty less than stellar. We've got a trigger, a Geisley SSA for the MCX. I had a little bit of a snag with this though, but we'll get into that later. We got some SIG stocks. And then from Go Big Tactical, we have some Area 419 stuff. This linear flash suppressor, which we're gonna throw on there, as well as the universal adapter. So pretty cool stuff. And then this is a shoulder that compensates for the Rattler having that tapered barrel. So if you throw in an aftermarket, mount or muzzle device that's got a, squared off shoulder, that just allows you to mate it up properly with the taper. And then, of course, again, the full secondary lower, really, really fine. So, all right, guys, if that's the plan, if you guys like what you see, stick around. We're going to get this thing all kitted out. All right, just split-second decision here. I was going to throw the Ergo Deluxe on the black lower. I'm thinking that we're going to actually do the FDE lower instead because that one actually has more upgrades done to it, and we're going to finish with that one anyway. So I'll take a quick moment to go through the couple upgrades we've done to the lower here, and then we'll get rocking on the FDE. So two main things. We have a Radian Talon safety and the Phase 5 EBR enhanced bolt release. Lever right there. The way that works is pull the charging handle back. Obviously it locks to the rear with the magazine in place, though you can also manually lock to the rear by lifting this paddle up. And then to release, you simply push this lever down and that drops the bolt. Pretty handy on guns like the Rattler that don't have an ambi catch and release system built in. So that's it for this lower. We will we'll ditch it from here and go forward. All right, first thing first with the FDE lower, we're gonna pop off the bottom grip. You just pop off this little storage compartment panel, and then basically there's one screw in the base here. We're just gonna pull that out, and then I'll be back to you guys with this thing installed. All right, guys, there we go. The black, I'm questioning the black now a little bit. I don't have another FDE on hand. I used the last one on my XCR build. That was another upgrading guns video recently done, as was the Super Shorty. This black grip I actually swiped off of my Knights SR25 build. So I think the moral of the story is I just need more Ergo Deluxe flat top grips. But we're gonna proceed because I'm thinking maybe we'll swap the tan with the black stock at the end, and then that actually might still, that might look pretty cool, so. But hey, part of these videos is about experimenting with things, and that's what we're that's what we're doing today. So next up, there already are some upgrades installed to the lower here. Again, we have this time FDE, Radian Talon safety system. We've got some extended charging handles there, K&S anti-rotation pins, and again, an EBR by Phase 5. So that's the lower. Again, the trigger, these actually have the SIG's new Matchlight Duo trigger, which are actually pretty solid triggers. They've got a nice flat face there. Now it's a curved trigger, but there's a nice little flat there. That allows you to disperse the pressure a little bit more evenly on your finger. We'll go through the trigger pull at the end of the video, but it is quite nice. Now the problem I had with the Geissele is because I got this thing used a long time ago, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I looked up a video to install this, and there's supposed to be a little slave pin that helps you keep this assembly together when you drop it in the receiver. Right now it won't fit because these are actually the trigger pins that fit flush with the outside of the frame. Can't fit in like that. You're supposed to have a little slave pin that helps you get those two components pre-installed. I don't have that. And like I said, I bought this thing used a long time ago, and it just didn't come in the baggy of stuff. So that's on me for not installing that thing sooner, realizing it was missing and contacting the guy I got it from to figure something out. But hey, oh well, we'll get it figured out in the future. To show you really quickly here as well, this is the original bolt catch. This is what the EBR replaces. So that's just a pretty standard affair. You get a little bit longer of a catch system there, but nonetheless pretty standard. And this is your selector. Ambi, you've got a full size on the one side, a stubby on the Ambi side, and well, it's all right. It's a little bit stiff, I found, and it's a 90-degree throw. I much prefer the 45-degree throw on the Radians. These ones you can set up for 90-degree throw as well if you want, but I'm all about that 45. Anyways, guys, that's the internal stuff. We're going to move on to kind of some bigger, more fun things now. So next up, we'll take our universal disassembly tool, which in this case is a round of 300 Blackout, which the Rattler is chambered in. You can get 5.56 kits for them now as well. So we'll actually, for starters, we need to pop out the stock. The telescopic stock, which was the original, actually mates the two upper and lower together. So if you have the stock closed, you can't hinge open the upper and lower. Pull them through. There we go. Okay, so from this point on, we're basically done with the black lower. Now the upper here, while I have it off, we've got a Radian Raptor charging handle in here, which is a must-do upgrade. The factory charging handle on these things, much like I've ragged on it for the MPX, is awful. Again, very, very tight-fitting to the gun, which is probably a good thing. But considering that these kind of came out, the MCX series in general came out with this massive, these double bars here for the stock, you basically get no meat on these little latches when you're going to rack the thing. It to be somewhat challenging, and I didn't like it, and I knew I had to toss on a Raptor. That's what I did over here on my MPX, and honestly, guys, it was a night and day difference. I absolutely loved it. However, Radian made a nicer version of their Raptor for the MPX. This is their, regular version of the Raptor, where I have the LT, which is like the lower cost, it's like $10 cheaper or something, version for the MCX. I couldn't get the actual original version. And I have to say I am not nearly as much of a fan of these as I am their generic series. Definitely spend the extra 10 or 15 bucks because they're considerably nicer. Anyways, let's get this upper on this lower. This is the big change here. And man, that looks really cool. See, now I'm actually kind of liking the black. Now it's kind of tying the upper with the lower. I'm quite digging that. So moving on along, let's go over here. Let's get the hook stop on next. That's this little beauty from Aeroknox. All right, there she is. That's how that little guy runs. It's gonna actually serve as a nice indexing point for our tape switch on the Surefire when we get that guy on there. Next up, let's pop off this muzzle device. This is the factory 3-prong flash suppressor from SIG that comes on the Rattler. We'll throw on this shoulder converter. There you guys can see that taper on the shoulder, and this just reverses that essentially. And we'll throw on the universal adapter from Area 419. And this is a universal adapter for their muzzle devices. They have the linear flash suppressor. They also have some other things as well, like brakes. All right, now let's start exploring a couple options. I'm going to show you guys a couple different versions of this thing. So part of the way I want to do this here is I'm going to mag in because I'm going to set up this weapon-mounted light here to be indexed off of when I choke up on the mag well, get my thumb up around just so I can actuate these levers, turning the light on and off. So I want to position that accordingly. Looks like that's pretty good right there. We'll lock this guy down. Again, this is a Surefire X300u. Then take our Aimpoint in the KDG Sidelok mount. That's just gonna flip on over, lock in place, and right up in there. And that's that setup. That's actually looks pretty mean. So again, you're running your gun, you can be up here, but then choke up on the mag well, nice natural indexing point, and boom, that's your flashlight on and off. This mount gets you guys high up enough so that you can see over the flashlight no problem. And then a quick note, if you guys are going to run, well, if you're going to run a weapon mounted light like this, which I personally really like, you do want to probably avoid having stuff up front. The SIG is decently low profile, though I've noticed when I had this before. I'll just show you guys here quick. This does, it works. You get plenty of light spilling over top, but it does light up, any of these surfaces facing you, and that gets pretty bright. So it's gonna reflect on you pretty hard there. So that's one reason. And again, with a setup with an Aimpoint, really don't think you're gonna miss running irons. That's just my opinion. So here, that's setup A. Now let's get the other side set up on it. By the way, these side locks, they just pop off just like that. Pretty slick. Okay, next up, we are going to, we don't have a lot of options here on the SIG Rattler for mounting something like this. This is a full-size Scout 600. We could actually go with the Scout Mini as well, which would probably be a little more conducive to this platform. However, because I have this linear flash suppressor, I can throw that on here, and this is going to allow me to throw a larger light on here, even if it's further back here. I don't want to have it out there, but if I have it in this back slot, that gets me enough clearance that I'm not going to be, smoking the end of my light here with a bunch of concussion or carbon. Not that these aren't built to take it. I'm just saying, if you don't have to, why not? So we'll throw this guy, actually, this is the clicky cap version, but we're going to have this thing set up over here. So I'm going to actually probably want to run, I guess you could do it this way, but I'm going to run a tape switch because it's just easier all the way around. And the tape switch gives you momentary access as well. So super simple. We're just going to unthread the tail cap. This one's sealed. This is actually a dual fuel model, so cool enough. I actually didn't mean to go into this much detail, but while I'm here, this is the rechargeable battery. Literally a micro USB cable hooks in there, and you charge this thing out of a USB, power adapter. It's pretty slick. I actually have to say I was pretty impressed with that. So I love running rechargeable lights. Batteries certainly have their place, but for the stuff I'm training with all the time, I do like rechargeable rather than just burning through batteries. Here's your dual end cap. It's got the clicky cap functionality built in. Also the provision for a tape switch, which we'll do this afterwards. So we'll get this thing fit up into the mlok rail and installed. All right, that was easy. And this is actually on an articulating mount here. So we can set it up kind of wherever we want. I'm gonna actually have it tucked up as close there as I can. Though, keep in mind, you might want to have this port accessible just so you can adjust your gas. But honestly, it's pretty simple to do. And as long as you have access to one side, you can get in there with your universal disassembly tool and actuate both positions from that one side. So not really a concern for me. I'm going to run this guy all the way up, tighten it down, and then we can go ahead and install our tape switch. So this literally just clips right on to your 1913 rail interface. You can run it either way. This paddle here is a momentary. This one, again, clicks it on and off. I think, and I'm using, again, this hook stop as a natural hand stop position to index and hit it. So I think what I'm going to do is set that up for, also with mine for cable management here. I don't want this cable bouncing around. So I think I'm going to run this the opposite way so I can pull the slack out of the cable. So I'll plunk that in. Now, I could run it this way, but I got the slack here, which I could zip tie down or otherwise secure. But I think I'm just going to naturally get rid of a bunch of that slack by just turning this and inverting it and running it up kind of as tight as I can. Get that clipped on there. Okay, and now this hook stop serves as a natural index point for the clicky. And I just have to, obviously index off of that to have momentary. Pretty slick. Definitely digging the functionality. I've started to put lights on all my guns now. That's that. We're looking pretty good. Now I've got a couple different options here. Again, we've got a really tall mount from Aimpoint. These guys can be popular if you're running nods at nighttime or you're in a helmet. Basically any application where you're not going to be able to get as comfortable of a cheek weld, more so like a chin weld on the stock. This just gets your face up and more comfortable looking through that tall dot. Now, I've had guys laugh and say this looks like a mailbox, which once you see it, you kind of can't unsee it, but there is a purpose for these tall mounts. Again, they're gaining more popularity as night vision is gaining more popularity, as that typically necessitates, headgear of some sort, and that just, a proper helmet that's giving you proper coverage. Not comfortable getting that cheek on the stock. So again, that's where these tall mounts come into play. Or again, if you have stuff out in front, like this works really well with the setup as well. It is a bit taller than I need it to be. The side lock height is actually a little bit lower, kind of fits in there a little bit better. But again, you're setting this up for your sight picture for how you're going to be looking through the rifle, because that's what counts. Anyways, guys, we're getting to the end of this build video, and this thing is looking really, really fine. By the way, here's the trigger pull on the Matchlight Duo. A little bit of take up, crisp, clean brake, very little over travel. Now this is handy. I can get my third finger around here. I got a mag in here. I can take the mag out, but I can just get my third finger over here to press that lever, run the charging handle to reset the trigger, and nice positive tactile reset. And it's looking good. It's looking good, gentlemen. I don't know. What do you think? Black stock as well? Or do we leave the tan? I'm kind of liking the black, to be honest. Maybe we'll throw that on there, but at any rate, I don't need you guys here for that. You guys have seen, well, I guess I could show you guys quick. This is a pretty simple thing to disassemble. Just a little Torx head, back that off. There's a 1913 adapter, so you just pull this right off. You can get other stocks like this on there as well. This is one from SIG. They have that. Of course, you can use the telescopic one that's on my other lower. And they've even got an M4 buffer tube attachment one as well, which I have on my MPX. Gentlemen, thank you a ton for your time today. Here's your bonus gun. This is your de facto bonus. These are all bonus guns, but your de facto bonus gun is a Nighthawk Custom Agent 2. And a special shout out to Black Box Customs up in Canada for loaning this thing to me. This is one of their shop guns, but it's absolutely beautiful. Grips done by Rail Scales. So good stuff. Beautiful, beautiful shooters. A buddy lent me his Agent 2 as well, which I'm going to be doing a video on pretty soon. But I have to say, once you go Nighthawk, man, unbelievable appreciation for how well those things are built. Otherwise, guys, stick around for Saturday morning. We got a fun video dropping, something a little bit different, a little cheesier than I usually do on this channel, but I think it'll be a good time. Guys, if you like my content, I got 5 things for you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at arm.and.gun. And the bonus one for 2021, tell a friend, because that is the best way to get around all of the censorship and shadow banning, which is a thing. It is a thing. I've got the metrics to prove it. That's the best way to continue growth. I'm gunning for 100K. My buddy, Alabama Arsenal, go check his channel out. He just crossed 100K. Super pumped for that guy. I'm trying to be nipping at his heels here, so guys, do me a solid. Help me get there, and guys, thanks a ton. Lots more fun content coming out this year. Pretty much wraps it up for today, but before we go, let's just pan around the room a little bit here and admire this ravishing Rattler. I think this thing is super sexy. I'm definitely digging this build. Also, guys, I've got a bunch of links in the description below. If you want to check those out, there's lots of gear, coffee, holsters, light stuff, even flannels now. So some of them are affiliate links, which support the channel. Some of them are just discount codes for you guys, and other ones are just companies that I'm, doing some stuff with, and so they threw me a link, and I want to support them because they're helping me out. But otherwise, guys, that'll be an up-to-date list every new video, so just check it out at your leisure. And thanks a ton. Arm&Gun out.